but hey, sometimes it just happens that way. Okay, well, good evening. And I will call this meeting to order at 7:37 for this regular Monrovia City Council meeting this Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. And we will start off with our invocation by Police Chaplain Steve Martinez, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Council Member Sergio Jimenez.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Please join me as we ask for God's blessing this evening. Dear God, we thank you so much for allowing us to gather once again, Lord, in this fine city. Father, we ask for your blessing to be given to the mayor, to the city council, to the city staff, Lord, those making decisions for the city on behalf of the people, dear God. We thank you for those wonderful people that are here this evening, and even bless their little dogs too, Lord. They're your creation, yes. Father, we ask continued blessing, of course, and protection, Father, for our police department, fire department, blessings on our churches, Lord, our businesses. Just asking for your protection to be given to this city, Lord, that you would find favor with the people in this city, Lord. And lastly, Lord, may you, the God of all hope, fill us with joy and peace as we trust in you, so that we may overflow with hope by the power of your Holy Spirit. We ask these things in your precious name, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please turn and face our nation's flag.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we please now have roll call?
Councilmembers Belden.
Here.
Jimenez.
Here.
Spicer.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly. Here, present. And Mayor Shevlin.
Here. Okay, and we did have closed session this evening, and I will ask for our city attorney to report out.
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to the meeting, the council met in closed session. All 5 council members were present, and the council took no reportable action.
Thank you very much. And so that now we've come to our presentations and proclamations. And we'll start off. PR1 is Pasadena Humane Pet of the Month. And we have Kevin. Who do we have with you this evening?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I have this adorable dog whose name is Girly Pop.
Okay.
Not my idea, but I dig it. It's a good vibe for her. She's very, very sweet. She's a 4-year-old, we think Labrador, possibly Pit Bull mix, likely Pit Bull mix, but just the sweetest possible dog that we have at the shelter right now. I brought her specifically because she's been on our newly opened field trip program a number of times. You may have seen the information about that, but prior to this month, folks who wanted to take dogs out for walks had to go through our volunteer program and get some specialized training. And we realized that was a real barrier because some people just want to take a dog for a walk. And so we're welcoming them to come in and take dogs like Girly Pop out for a walk, out for an overnight, whatever the case may be. It's been really great. It's resulted in a number of new adoptions for us, and it gets the dogs visibility that they wouldn't get if they're hanging out in the shelter all day. So we're really excited about that. If anyone's interested, please check our website. We take appointments for that, and you can sign up for to take a dog out up to 30 days in advance. Another fun thing, if you're more of a cat person, March 14th, which is a Saturday from 11 to 2 at the shelter, we're having a kitten shower. And this is our opportunity to onboard a bunch of hopefully new kitten fosters, because we know here in Southern California, it's not an if it will get kittens, it's a when. So if you're interested in fostering kittens, especially newborn kittens, please come check out the kitten shower. Information's on our website, pasadenahumane.org.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
She looks like a butterscotch.
I'll put the name
I'll go
recommendation
with
in.
Girly Pop. That's great. Thank you very much, Kevin. What a great program. Okay, PR2, I'm going to ask Wendy Hinkle Taquino to come up. And she contacted me recently on this proclamation. And I'm wearing green in support of this Awareness Month. Their color is green. But I'm going to read this, and then afterwards, we'll come down and give it to you, and you'll have an opportunity to address this. I did want to double check on the name because I do want to pronounce this correctly.
It's cholangiocarcinoma.
Thank you. This proclamation then is given, whereas an estimated 10,000 people in the United States develop cholangiocarcinoma each year, and the mortality rate has increased dramatically in the last decade. And whereas cholangiocarcinoma is a rare cancer, of the top 8 deadliest cancers, 7 are rare. Rare cancers have a 5-year survival rate under 50%, with cholangiocarcinoma 5-year survival rate being approximately 20%. And there is currently no cure for cholangiocarcinoma bile duct cancer. And whereas foundations, research, and teaching hospitals, rare cancer advocacy groups, and patient advocacy groups from around the globe have joined forces to recognize the third Thursday of February as World Cholangiocarcinoma Day, and whereas the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation is the leading global resource in research, education, and public awareness, and whereas increased cholangiocarcinoma advocacy, awareness, research, and education will bring improved outcomes for patients in earlier detection and treatment and potential curative methods. Now, therefore, I, Becky Shevlin, Mayor of the City of Monrovia, California, along with the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim February 19th and the month of February as World Cholangiocarcinoma Day and Carcinoma Awareness Month in commemoration of all patients and caregivers impacted by the rare lethal cancer, and encourage all Monrovians to educate themselves about the disease and the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation for its role in our communities to improve the quality of life of patients and its work to find a cure. Dated the 17th day of February, 2026. And I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
Wendy's a dear friend, and as you can probably imagine, Wendy is a sufferer of this disease. And I've known Wendy for many, 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 many years going back, and she is a fantastic person. And oh my goodness, you want to talk about somebody who has positive outlook on life. You can check her out on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, but I mean, her attitude is unbelievable. And if anyone was going to make it, she would just on sheer determination. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to say a few words, and we can come down and give you this proclamation. But I'm a little emotional about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for taking this time and letting me say a few words too. I was diagnosed in 2024, in November of 2024, and it's a very rare cancer and not found in early stages because symptoms are not shown until later stages. So I was already stage 4 with a 13-centimeter tumor in my liver when I was diagnosed. But we're still here and fighting. I did
A big smile.
7 months of chemo, and I had a big radiation procedure last year that was very successful. And so we're hopeful that as I continue to seek more treatment, we actually have a meeting tomorrow at UCLA to talk about a possible liver transplant, which would be a huge miracle. I was diagnosed inoperable because of where my tumor is located, and the only known cure right now is surgical removal of the cancer. And even then, recurrence rate is really high. So I'm super, super thankful that awareness is becoming more prevalent in the community. And thank you so much for taking the time for this presentation today. The Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation has just been a wonderful resource for me. I've met the most amazing people, and what a strange thing to be able to say that cancer has brought so much goodness into my life as well as hardship. But that's kind of the way that life works, isn't it? Some of the hardest things that we go through bring us the most beauty, right? And so, anyways, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You're welcome. And I will mention that it was many years ago, but that's the type of cancer my grandmother died from. So at any rate, and I know that Mr. Steele has a close friend that is suffering from this. So I know it's rare, but it definitely touches many, many lives. So
I think we're learning that it's also either not been diagnosed or misdiagnosed, and it may not be as rare as they
as
think.
they say it is. Well, like I said, you have an amazing outlook on life. For the rest of us, we could
Thank you.
we could learn from Wendy. So at any rate, we'll come down here and get a picture, and you can take your proclamation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you all for the time.
Now, Wendy, you are definitely free to to leave. You don't have to sit through our meeting, but if you'd like, we'd love to have you as well. Okay. PR3 recognition of, here's another tearjerker moment. A recognition of retiring Community Services Director Tina Cherry, and Mr. Feek will make this presentation.
Thank you very much. Tina, would you mind if I invite you to come up to the podium? So joining Tina tonight is Craig, but also Charlie and Gia, I believe, who are back there. And I think before we kind of recognize Tina, I'd just like to remind everyone how, when you serve the public, so oftentimes your family is the one who, has to sacrifice time with you, and they bear the brunt that can sometimes come with public service. And I think for someone like Tina, who has been so active and so present at so many of our events and activities that have just made Monrovia an all-America city, she certainly couldn't do it without the love and support of Craig. And so we just want to say, Craig, thank you for all that you do. Tina has worked with the city of Monrovia for 12 years, but she's concluding over 30 years of public service. Her role in strengthening the community services department is unparalleled. I think you probably would all agree that we've seen such just a transcendence in both library and recreation programming in recent years. And that really comes because of Tina's leadership, her passion for the community, and she will be the first one to tell you that she can't do it alone. She does it with the help and support and teamwork of so many individuals who work in the community services department. She couldn't do it without the volunteerism of boards and commission members over the years, with passionate volunteers and community members who care deeply about these programs. And certainly I know she would say that she couldn't do it without the support of city council, staff, coworkers. But Tina has really touched every corner of this community. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast, whether you like to sit in the quietness of an amazing library and read, whether your favorite spots are LGP, JFP, STP, or MCP, which are our code words for Lucinda Garcia Park, Julian Fisher Park, Satoru Sanishi Park, or Canyon Park. She has helped us, lead in so many different ways. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that we've had a heck of a lot of fun in doing so. I think one takeaway that I'm going to recognize Tina for later this week, we'll be honoring her on Thursday, which will be her last day of work at the community center, where many will be invited to share and celebrate Tina. They've had so much joy and fun. And one of the terms that Tina shared long ago that we use to kind of explain Tina's passion and commitment is the give a damn factor. Everything she does, she puts her heart and her soul into it. She gives it everything she can. And I think that's really what has made so many of our programs and activities, parks, the designs we put into them, just so cherished and so appreciated, is that someone thought hard, put a lot of intention and attention into details. And for some like me, who sometimes are flying 30,000 feet above the ground and don't see the details, it's people like Tina who have really worked hard to make Monrovia so special. We'd like to express our deepest appreciation for all that you do, Tina. We're going to miss you. We look forward to celebrating you further throughout the week. And at this time, I'd like to invite the city council members to offer any comments you'd like before we invite Tina to share a few words.
Edward, I'll start off with you.
Tina. Wow, so I got started helping participate in commissions in our city with Community Service Commission. It was with you. And so it's been just an amazing journey to see, and I mean, I think it's evident now more than ever, but to at least find Tina at first, to start to say, this is a person that just cares deeply about this city and is helping to lead a department and really wants to see it just excel. And then just knowing that everyone does that, and she just helps set that tone amongst all our staff, and we see it every day. I saw it every day. I still do. But it's just the amount of work that you put in to just create amazing spaces, our parks, our libraries where we all gather, and all those programs that have touched so many people and really just improved so many lives. And it's just about building a community, and that's what you've done over and over, and we are all better for it. And I hope it continues. Well, that's later when Rebecca joins in here. But I think Dylan mentioned it, though. It is that attention to detail. I always loved it when we had Community Service Commission meetings and talking about parks, and it's like all of a sudden this one little, and we put on these little leaves on the edge there, and you're like, what? Okay, that's a great idea. But she would always make sure that she would go all the way to the littlest detail, which is really important. And even though she's still managing the bigger part of it all the time. So it was really impressive. But it's also just led to that motto we have here in Monrovia, which is the premier quality of life. And I think you've lived it, and we appreciate that. So thank you.
Larry.
Tina, my God. I want to thank you for your devotion to Monrovia. We've had a really good relationship. Well, I'll just keep mine short because I'll have a long speech on Thursday, okay? But Craig, I just want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of the journey. You know, Tina, she really brings that good example of being hungry, loyal, and smart. Very smart. And you built a hell of a team. And I'll just leave it at that until Thursday, okay? We're losing a Tina and gaining a Reba, isn't it?
Tamala.
The words that come to my mind, you know, we've had many of conversation, but the words that come to my mind is a woman of excellence. You are a woman of excellence. You are a woman of integrity. You literally capture the fruit of the Spirit, which is joy, and you have the joy in everything that you do, and it's so contagious. You make everyone around you excited about whatever you're about to present. I want in, okay? Because you're really bought into it. It's not fake, it's real, and you've given your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions, everything you brought to your job, because it wasn't just a job for you. It was a service to this community. You didn't see it as that. And I just love that about you. And of course, I'll have more on Thursday, but you are a fierce woman, and I just admire you.
Thank you.
Sergio.
Tina, I remember as a commissioner sitting in this room when the guest interns would be doing their presentations. I think one of the greatest things you could do is to touch the future. And with your work with Monrovia's youth, you did that. Your patience, how you molded them. For most of these kids, it was the first job they ever held, at least the first paying job they ever held. To me, that's one of the many things that stands out. But when you're dealing with children, and Rebecca's children are here as witnesses today. Looking around in the audience, a couple other young people are here, but you've touched the Monrovia's future by being a role model for Monrovia's youth. I've often said that other than serving God himself, public service is the noblest profession, because you don't receive the compensation in dollars, but you receive that in the joy that you see what you're bringing to your community. And you've brought joy. You've touched the future. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
I've said goodbye to you so many times now, and the sting doesn't go away. It's still very painful. But as I was listening to my colleagues here and talking about using words, joy, detail, devotion, dedication, and Edward said fun, and you definitely, and immediately just came to mind, okay, I'm being kind of goofy here, but she'll have fun, fun, fun till her daddy took the T-bird away. Yeah. And if you know Tina, she loves to sing and she loves to party and just have. And I can just see you with the red hair, with the hair going, you know. So at any rate, you embody joy and fun. You make the job so happy and everyone around you happy. And I know that you've trained a really good person to fill your shoes. They will be big shoes to fill, but I just want to thank you so very much for everything that you've done for us and all the fun that you've brought to us, and all the joy that we will have going forward, I know, under Rebecca as well. But we love you. We honor you, and just thank you. Thank you.
Thank
So-
you.
And you'll have fun. I think we've got, do we want, Tina, would you like to say some words? And we do have a few little gifts here for you as well.
I do have some comments, Mayor, so whatever you would prefer.
Sure, go right ahead.
Well, it's kind of funny. My first day in Monrovia, I broke my heel. And I didn't want to take away from the job to go get my heel fixed, so I just kind of hobbled through the day, right? Well, tonight, at the end of my career, my dog just managed to pee over me and the city treasurer. So I'm going in with style, coming out with style. But thank you, Mayor and members of the council, for your comments. They mean so much to me, and I'm so filled with gratitude today. And it's kind of unbelievable that it's been 12 years. It seems like just yesterday I was hobbling on that one heel. But thank you, council, so much for your support, your guidance, your leadership, but most importantly, your trust. We did have a lot of crazy ideas, and you bought in, and you gave us the room to do that. And to echo the sentiment that some of you shared, public service only works when there's a partnership and shared vision. And I've always felt that from each of you, that it's been a partnership and a shared vision. Your belief in our department allowed us to try new things, allowed us to grow, and allowed us to serve this community in a meaningful way. And so thank you for that space. To our city manager and the executive team, thank you for your collaboration, your steady leadership, and yes, the friendship, the laughs, and the memories. There were plenty of really late nights, lots of tough conversations and big decisions, but there was also humor, encouragement, camaraderie that made even the hardest of days worthwhile. I will truly miss being a part of that circle, but I know Rebecca's going to fill my seat beautifully. To the incredible community services team, you are the heart of this work. You show up every single day with care, compassion, and commitment to our purpose. You don't just do the job, you genuinely give a damn. Thank you. They give a damn about what we do and the people we serve. That matters. It's always mattered. And I couldn't be more proud of what we've been able to do together to serve this community. To the Monrovia community, I want to thank you for welcoming my family. We had been living in different places but never found a home, and here we found a home, so thank you. From the day we moved in, we felt the warmth and the pride that made this community so special. We feel the love, and we will continue to enjoy that. And to my husband and my family, my parents are at home watching. My dad's recovering from knee surgery. Thank you for tolerating the late nights, the long hours, the weekends, the calls on holidays, the calls at dinner, and the many times that I said, I'll just need 5 more minutes. Your support made it all possible, and I look forward to our great adventures ahead. So, I know I'm leaving this department in very good hands. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Rebecca Sandoval for 12 years. I have watched her grow, lead, innovate, and has served this community with integrity. She is hardworking, thoughtful, and guided by our values. She is ready for this challenge. I have absolutely no doubt that she will continue to do great things and continue to make a difference for our community. While I miss you all, I will miss you all. I can say I'm not going far. I look forward to continuing to be a part of this community in some capacity, yet to be determined. But I guess after my 12 years of service here in Monrovia, it's time for me to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. So that's what I'm going to do. So thank you for giving me the space to honor and serve this community. Thank you for the trust, the partnership, the laughter, and the memories. I will forever hold Monrovia in my heart, and I'm just so blessed to end my career here. So thank you.
Okay, we've got some goodies.
Oh, my goodness. Good night.
He's there wiping his tears.
Craig should come up here.
He's like, they beat on me.
It's okay. This is old carpeting. She didn't go the carpet, just on me.
We can get it going. Well, they got nervous.
Thank you. I smell my dog.
That's okay. Craig.
And
It's gonna be yours.
If not, I could take it for you.
And you know, I'm going to go ahead, you want to, come on, and you.
Yes, hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Adriana. I'm with Assemblymember John Harabedian. Really quickly, that way I won't keep you guys up there for too long. Tina, I'm so sad to see you go, but I'm so excited for your future, for your journey ahead. As a former rec aide for my hometown's community services department, we in our community would not be where we are today without leaders like you. So we congratulate you on your years of service. Public service is a great feat and one that not many are called to do. So we congratulate you on your retirement. We look forward to working with you in whatever capacity that may be. And I look forward to hearing of your trip. So congratulations, Tina. And we have a certificate for you, but I'll leave the city to do theirs right now.
We have this plaque. And so thank you for 12 years of unyielding service and dedication to the city of Monrovia. Your professional contributions have exemplified our core values of humility, hunger, loyalty, and smarts through a commitment to serving and creating a community that offers a premier quality of life. We wish you the very best in your retirement. You're welcome. Yeah. Do you want to give?
Yeah, I'll let you guys take a picture. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh.
There's more space. Yeah. We're gonna have fun. Oh.
Oh, man. Oh, we weren't going to introduce.
Okay. And now we will have PR4, which is the introduction of newly promoted Community Services Director Rebecca Sandoval. Reba. Come on up, and Dylan will be presenter on this one.
So I'd like to share a couple stories real quick as I introduce Rebecca. So first is, when you're a new city manager, nobody knows who you are, and I would forget that sometimes. So in early November 2019, I was walking down the stairs right out here of the council chamber, and we were holding interviews for the recreation manager position in one of these conference rooms to the side. And we only had one candidate who was interviewing that day, was Rebecca. And she was a little bit nervous. But what I hadn't really, given much thought to is, if the brand new city manager walks up and says, "Hey, are you nervous?" It probably makes you even more nervous for the interview. And when I went up to her and said, "Hey, so are you nervous?" She looked like she had seen a ghost. And I think that was one of my earliest recollections of Rebecca. And of course, she did a wonderful job in the interview, and she's just done a fantastic job ever since. But another story, which to me really highlights Rebecca, was in January of 2024. As you recall, there was a fire that broke out at Brad Oaks Elementary School. And Tina happened to be out of town this day. And I don't recall if I was able to get a hold of the fire chief initially, because he was on scene. And so was the police chief at the time, and several even council members and school board members. People in town were all rushing over, because when you have a fire break out right as they're doing drop off at an elementary school, that's a day that you don't forget. But fortunately, no one was injured. They were able to get the kids out safely. But then we had the challenge of, what do you do with a school of kids that can't be on campus, that are afraid and scared, and parents are at work and have already dropped them off for the day? So we quickly pivoted. Let's figure out how we can host these kids at least until a time where we can get their parents to pick them up again. So we brought the police department. Before I tell you what we did, first person I called, Community Services. And so I called Rebecca because Tina was out, and I said, "Hey, Rebecca, we got an issue." And her first words were, "How can I help?" And to me, that was the moment that I knew I'm working with the person who can accomplish anything, has a desire to help, and it was just, quite frankly, what we need in local government positions. We need more of them. People who may not have all the answers, or people who don't know everything, or what have you, but people who have a general desire to help. How can I help? I'm here. Put me in. That's when we brought over the police department and were able to arrange kind of a safe walk over to the Boys and Girls Club. We had contacted Boys and Girls Club and opened up the Mary Wilcox Youth Center. We hosted sports. We played with the kids until every one of them was safely returned to their parents. It was a pretty memorable day. But that's, I think, when I really got to see Rebecca's leadership for the first time without Tina in town. And I thought it was just such a wonderful moment for me. Rebecca has worked for the city of Monrovia for 18 years. She's held many roles in the organization. And she's worked for Tina for 12 of those years. And a lot of the accomplishments and achievements that we talked about with Tina are due in large part to the many people who work for the Community Services Department, including Rebecca. I have every bit of confidence that Rebecca will do an amazing job. She is very excited about this opportunity. She has a degree, a little bit of background for those who don't know Rebecca. She has a bachelor's degree in liberal studies from California State Polytechnic University. She has a broad experience in recreation services and is really excited to take on this new professional challenge. We are very excited for her and the opportunity it presents as we look to the future and the future growth and accomplishments of community services. So, Rebecca, congratulations. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
Speech.
Well, it's a tough act to follow. I love Tina dearly, so this is her night. I don't want to take too much away from her, but I did want to take the time to thank the City Council. I'm deeply honored and humbled by the trust that you've instilled in me. We are very excited to continue Tina's legacy and all of her leadership. We are working with an incredible group of individuals and professionals in community services. You heard from Tina, they lead with our values. They love the community, and they create core memories that create community. I also wanted to thank Dylan for having the faith in me and the entire executive team. They've already given me so much support during this transition that I am truly, truly thankful for. To Tina, I'll try to get through this without crying. But the 12 years, you've been my mentor, my friend, and the biggest support system. Your leadership and wisdom has set the standard that we will continue. From professional to family milestones, you've been by my side, and the biggest cheerleader. I'll forever be grateful for the work that we've accomplished, and really words don't express my gratitude. I look forward in this next chapter where we'll have coffee convos and lunch to talk about your adventures. And I just have to thank my family. So first off, my husband, Renee, and my kids, Ruby, Royce, and Remy, who are here today. They wait up for me at night and those late meetings, always excited to see me. So I couldn't do it without them. And to my parents who are also here, my mom, who's taught me to be the greatest mother that I am, and my dad, who's taught me my hard work and my dedication. So thank you. And my mother and father-in-law, your support and your love means the world. And then my sisters who are also here, and my sister-in-law, I love you so much. We're all crying. So I look forward to this next chapter. I couldn't do it without the village that I have at home and the village that I will always have with Tina, and then the team that's also here, Community Services. So thank you, and I look forward to serving this community another 30 years.
Well, definitely welcome. Now, would you like a photo op on being installed? Okay, yes. Come on.
There's all of us crying too. Oh my goodness. I should have worn makeup tonight. Jesus.
So we will look forward to celebrating Tina on Thursday evening at 5 o'clock at the community center. Rebecca will also be there. We'd like to invite their families, and I'd certainly like to invite those who are attending with Tina and also Rebecca. Maybe after they stick around for introduction of the senior club presidents, perhaps an early parting gift, retirement gift for Tina is that maybe she doesn't have to stay through the rest of the meeting. So she's going to get used to that over the years too. Rebecca, we could excuse you tonight as well because you got a whole lot of Tuesday night meetings ahead of you. So thank you all.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to PR5, introduction of senior club presidents. And we have Tiffany Peterson, our recreation supervisor, who is going to go ahead and make the announcements.
Good evening, Mayor Shevlin and City Council members. This evening, we have the pleasure of assisting you with recognizing the 2026 Senior Club Board members. Before sharing our appreciation for each board member, we would like to provide some information about the clubs and the meaningful impact they have on the community. The New Horizons Club, founded in 1974, and the Gadabouts Club, founded in 1978, have become an integral part of senior programming. These clubs foster friendships, mutual support, and loyalty among its members. The clubs aim to provide seniors with an opportunity to gather, exchange information, and learn. Club activities include guest speakers, entertainment, raffles, monthly birthday celebrations, bingo, and a nutritious hot meal. They serve as a beacon of social connection, encouraging seniors to engage with one another, remain active, and enrich their lives. With the help of the board members from each club, the New Horizons Club has 60 active members, and the Gadabouts Club has 90 active members. As a whole, the clubs have increased their participation by at least 25 more members over the last 2 years. We are thrilled to see the clubs thriving and look forward to more participants joining in the future. We are now honored to recognize 9 board members for the New Horizons Club and 4 members for the Gadabouts Club. Tonight, we will be congratulating each board member with a certificate of recognition and a Monrovia keepsake. At this time, if we could call, all the board members will come up to take a photo with a memory of the photo with the City Council. So first up, we have our New Horizons Club board members.
Do you want us to come down?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So first we have our president, which is Connie Gilliland. Come on up. Next, we have our vice president, Lupe Delgado. Our second vice president, Helen Torres. Our recording secretary, Craig Miller. Our corresponding secretary, Delcina McMillan. Our treasurer, Roger Augustine. Our Sergeant at Arms, Patty McFarland. And we have 2 members that weren't able to make it, Assistant Treasurer Socorro Garcia and our Auditor Joanna Petroff. Perfect. And then for our Gadabouts Club members, we do have one of our members in attendance, which is President Jeanette Armstrong. The members that weren't able to attend were President Irma Robles, Secretary Jan Hammond, and Treasurer Oliva Alfonso. Congratulations again to all the Senior Club board members. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a nice coat, Sergio.
Well, it said it was going to rain, so.
Yeah, the room will become empty.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Oh, my goodness.
How you doing, Ed?
They are out of here.
Thank you for coming. All right. All right. Well, that will do it for our presentations and proclamations this evening. And we will move on then. Tonight, we do not have a student representative report. And I hope everything is, did we hear from, no? We'll look forward to hearing from her, from Elsie. Then, did I just say Elsie again? It's Elise. Next month. And then I don't believe there's any changes in the order of business, correct? And so we'll move on to our consent calendar, which are items CC1 through CC9, which can be taken are considered ordinary in nature and can be considered under one motion. And so unless there's something that someone needs pulled or discussed, do we have a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve CC1 through CC9.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Then without any further discussion or objection, then so approved. Moving on to public input. This is the opportunity for the public to come forward and address the city council on this, at this point in time, on items not on our agenda. You will be given 3 minutes to make your comments. And at this point, do we have any requests for public comment?
Yes, starting with Chris Lose.
Chris, come on down.
House party.
Good evening.
Hey, y'all. Good evening. Mayor Shevlin, council, staff. Dylan, we got to connect about sneaker cleaner. Seeing your face right now just reminded me about that. Sorry, I'm going to get to what I was here to say.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so that's.
I know, it is not on the agenda. That's true. I'd like to ask y'all to save the date along with community that is watching also for March 15th, 1 to 5. Sunday, March 15th, 1 to 5. Third annual house party at the park. What started as a get-together to reconnect with friends has grown into an afternoon of that, plus meeting new neighbors, making new friends, discovering resources like the map trailer that's available to residents, the Library of Things, the Monrovia Reads mobile library, orgs like Monrovia Duarte Black Alumni Association, KGMTV, and more. Good music, good food, and great people. I love this city. Like seeing people like, congratulations to Tina and Rebecca and it's the people. We're like the secret sauce of this city, and I love it, and I love seeing everyone at this event. But we care about bringing people together to build community, bringing chairs, blankets, friends, family. We also honor people that have made an impact in our community with the M-Town Awards. The people nominate, so if you see posts in Facebook groups from this guy, Chris, asking to fill out this form, just think about really cool people, and we'd love to get them recognized. Dylan, you were an M-Town Award recipient as well. Like, learning about people through other people is so cool. I get to see some of the comments and stuff, so it's really great seeing that. And the people we nominate, sorry, I'm reading my notes so I don't get distracted. That's pretty much it. If you want to find out more info, you can go to communityreimagined.org for more info and notes on the house party. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Sherry Lochner.
Good evening, Sherry.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Sherry Lochner, and I'm a resident of Monrovia. I grew up here in Monrovia and Duarte. I am here this evening to continue to advocate for day laborers and other people who are immigrants targeted by ICE. I recently read an op-ed by Pablo Alvarado, the co-executive director of Endilon, the National Day Laborer Organizing Network. And I want to acknowledge his passion and his ideas regarding the continued assault on people who are immigrants and people of color across this country. He is an inspiration, and I have used some of his words this evening. My colleagues and I are bearing nonviolent witness to a campaign by ICE that dehumanizes and perpetuates violence against people who are immigrants and people of color. We all should be deeply worried about state-sanctioned violence. We all should be worried about the death of our democracy. We all should be worried about the violations of human rights that go hand in hand with dehumanization. When state-sanctioned violence and abuse of human rights are tolerated, we are all complicit. Gracias, Señor Alvarado. As you may be aware, we reestablished the memorial for Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez on Saturday. We placed crosses to honor the lives lost because of ICE actions, including those people who have died in ICE custody. If you know about the tragic death toll and turn the page or look away, then you too have been dehumanized. If you have no more time or patience to listen to the requests of my colleagues and I are making, then your humanity may be in peril. My colleagues and I will not succumb to indifference. We cannot and will not give in to helplessness. That's where dehumanization happens. I was encouraged that Councilman Belden acknowledged the death of Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez at the recent State of the City, and that the mayor is seeking further information at a higher level for a report investigating his death. My colleagues and I strongly urge the Monrovia City Council to take the following decisive actions. 1, 6 months without a prior investigation into Carlos Roberto Montoya's death is unacceptable. We demand an independent investigation to ensure those responsible are held fully accountable under the law. 3, we call for the adoption of an ordinance declaring Monrovia a sanctuary city to protect our community and its values. This ordinance must be enacted to prohibit city employees, including police officers, from holding positions with ICE or any other federal immigration enforcement agencies. 4, we insist that ICE operations on city-owned property be restricted, including a prohibition against staging raids. Furthermore, police must be required to use body cameras during federal immigration enforcement and ensure that all footage is preserved to maintain transparency and accountability. And 5, we urge the City Council to collaborate with us in creating a permanent memorial honoring the life of Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez. This memorial will serve as a powerful testament to the invaluable contributions of the immigrant workforce to our community, recognizing their essential role in shaping our city. Let us stand together in solidarity and make these vital changes for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Martha Mack.
Good evening, Martha.
As usual, I'm going to read the names of the people who have died in ICE custody or as a result of ICE actions. 40 of these people died in ICE detention centers. 5 were shot and killed by ICE and CBP officers. 3 died during ICE raids and arrests, and 1 disabled person died following the detention of their caregiver. Henry Donaldo Ruiz Guyen, Sarawit Gazejen Dehene, Maxim Cherniak, Juan Alexis Tineo Martinez, Brian Rayo Garzon, Non Noak Nguyen, Marie Ange Blaze, Abelardo Avellaneda Delgado, Jesus Molina Vella, Johnny Novieyo, Isidro Perez, Tien Xuan Fan, Chao Feng Gay, Lorenzo Antonio Batres Vargas, Oscar Rascon Duarte, Ismael Ayala Uribe, Santos Benegas Reyes, Norlan Guzman Fuentes, Miguel Ángel Garcia Medina, Hua Bing She, Leo Cruz Silva, Hassan Ali Moad Saleh, Gabriel Garcia Aviles, Kai Yin Wang, Francisco Gaspar Andres, Pete Sumalo Montejo, Shiraz Fatehali Sachwani, Jean Wilson Brutus, Fawad Saeed Abdul Qadir, Delvin Francisco Rodriguez, Nenko Stanev Ganchev, Luis Gustavo Núñez Caceres, Luis Beltran Yanes Cruz, Paradila, Victor Manuel Diaz, Eber Sanchez Dominguez, Wael Tarabishi, Jaime Alanis Garcia, Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez, Josué Castro Rivera, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, Keith Porter Jr., Geraldo Lunas Campos, Renee Nicole Macklin Good, and Alex Jeffrey Pretty. Along with the request that my colleague made, if you have any input or ideas, also we would welcome any options that you might have, knowing more about the city, what the city is capable of doing, and what we might be able to do to protect our community. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any written requests. Do we have anyone else out in the audience wanting to provide public input? Not seeing anyone, then I will. Oh, Adriana, come on. I'm sorry. I thought you'd already done your thing.
No, it's okay. Well, this is for an item on the calendar, but really quickly, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Tamala Kelly, we would just like to recognize your service as Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Monrovia. We just wanted to thank you for your service, and on behalf of the Assembly member, your tireless efforts to help Monrovia thrive and remain a vibrant, forward-thinking city are truly commendable, and we look forward to your continued leadership for years to come. So thank you so much for serving as Mayor Pro Tem. I know this is a little bit early, but we just wanted to recognize your service.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you gonna ask me? I wanted a picture.
Do you want a picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that?
No.
Give me that certificate.
Okay, I'll ask again. Anyone else wanting to make public comment? Not seeing anyone, then we will close that portion and we will move on to our reports of city manager and staff. And Mr. Feek with our city council directives update.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. On the directives log, I'd just like to point out that after the council retreat last week, I'll be adding a list of several items that were discussed at that meeting so I can follow up. I just didn't have time to put those on the agenda prior to publication. And I'd like to mention, just for those who referred to Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez, the investigation, the city has made multiple attempts to speak with California Highway Patrol. We've also reached out directly to the governor's office multiple times asking for information and updates, so we'll continue to seek the investigative report. The city does not undertake that. It is conducted by CHP. They have been very slow to release anything or provide anything, and so we just unfortunately have no information. And that is the update I have this evening. Thank you.
And just to add to that, I had also inquired of the Attorney General's office.
Correct. We reached out specifically to both the governor of California and the Attorney General's
Yeah.
office as well.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Feek? Okay, then we will then move on to our reports of city council members, and I will start with, I'm going to go the other, and Sergio.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor. I'm happy to report our Sacramento Academy Conference, League of California Cities. I think you'll learn as much from listening to the other council members that are there than you do the people making presentations. And some of the things that I said, I saw that we really had so much in common with the other city council member was that local control, we know better what our community really needs rather than the state government or the federal government. Local control is what it's really all about. And as an individual council member, I reflected on the fact that we need to work together as a team. The individual, there's 5 of us. The individual, yes, might have great ideas, but unless we work with the other council members, we find consensus, nothing's going to happen. It's always 5 people, 3 of the 5, that's how you make things happen. With regards to the housing crisis, which is one of the biggest issues facing our California cities right now, fixing the housing crisis is really one city at a time. There is no statewide solution. Every city has its own individual or particular needs and how you go about filling those needs. So those were the biggest things that I got back from the conference that we had in Sacramento. I also wanted, Madam Mayor, to talk about the Monrovia Chamber of Commerce, the gala. The Monrovia Chamber of Commerce put on an elegant, full house awards gala. The theme was stepping into the spotlight, and you felt like you were in a 1920s silent era movie gala. It was very elegant, very nice. I want to congratulate all the award recipients as well, the executive director, Corinne Ramirez, and the rest of the Chamber of Commerce team. They put on a great event. I think it's the most impressive one I've seen so far since I've been on the council. And I also wanted to put out the good news. KGM-TV went to Sacramento. They were recipients of 8 WAVE nominations, which is a very prestigious award. And they came back with 2 awards, including the Best in Show for their Eat and Fire Carathon. And that same show won Best Live Format, the Eat and Fire Carathon. So I want to congratulate them. They are competing with communities much bigger than ours with more resources, and yet they keep receiving these accolades for the work that they do here in Monrovia. With regards to the State of the City address, I was so pleased with the results of it. We've all seen the improvements in Monrovia streets. For example, on Peck Road, on Mountain, we see the physical improvements. We see Satura Sonishi Park, the Route 66 mural, the reopening of Monrovia Canyon Park, the American Job Center at the Monrovia Adult School. But really, just as important, if not more important, are the things that you can't see physically in Monrovia that have been happening this past years. The accomplishments, they're not as readily visible. For example, the state of our city's finances, we have a super high credit rating, double A plus. Our Clean Power Alliance, that we've had the KGEM's accomplishments, MOPEG's actions in nominating Old Town to the National Register of Historic Places, and we're going to find out the results of that process soon. The Monrovia Doherty Black Alumni Association scholarships, these are not things that physically you can drive around and look at in Monrovia, yet they're so noteworthy for the impact they have on the individual residents of Monrovia. And most of all, the city staff, which so often don't receive enough credit for what they do, even on an emergency basis. We lost the location where we were going to have our State of the City address. And in a short period of time, they found a new suitable location at Monrovia High School. And they did it just a great job. I was so impressed. So I want to give a shout out to staff for putting on such a great event. And finally, I wanted to talk about the Knights of Columbus. We have so many nonprofits here in Monrovia that do so much good. They have an annual Lenten fish dinner starting February the 20th through April the 3rd. All the money is for scholarships as well as other acts of charity. Friday nights only. The Knights are going to have a fried fish and shrimp and French fries dinner for $18. Baked fish with Cajun rice, $20. Homemade clam chowder, $6. They're located at 130 West Pomona Avenue in Monrovia. And again, that's starting this Friday, going through April 3rd, Friday nights only, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Go, it's worth it, and you're doing it for a good cause. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem Tamla.
How long do I have? An hour as mayor?
A few minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple of things. I would like to also report on the amazing conference that we had the opportunity to go to as a council. I'd like to just give a couple of notes concerning the housing committee that I'm a part of. Is Housing and Economic Development Policy Committee. And so we had a meeting, and at the meeting during the conference, a lot of conversation was on the budget, on, well, the lack of a budget that's coming down from the state and how that's going to be affecting local cities. And I'm just trying to pull it up right now. That's how that's going to be affecting local cities. And just to give you some, just you guys may have these numbers already, but as of 2025, we are 18 billion. There's an $18 billion deficit, just in case you didn't know that. And here are some other numbers as to where California, the state of California, is looking to recoup some of these dollars, and it will be 45%. They're looking to recoup these dollars from personal income tax. And it could go on, but all that to say that we're dealing with a huge deficit, so that's affecting local cities in a varied ways. We also came up with 3 of our top priorities that we're going to be working on as a committee. We're going to be working on housing affordability, as everybody else is, supply and production. The second priority is local land use authority and state mandates. And our third priority is economic development and financing tools. So that's what our year is going to be looking like. I also had the opportunity as the to be able to attend the SGV COG 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games Ad Hoc Committee as the committee person that's going to be representing our city, the city of Monrovia. And it was a very good meeting. The meeting was still talking about what are some of the activations that the city the cities are going to be using, and I'm so happy to report that as a council, we've already decided on what some of those activations are going to be looking like in our city with our support and help of our city manager. And so there's a lot of work, lots of work to be done, but I'm glad that we're moving in the right direction. We're already signed up, and we're excited to move forward in the right direction. And we have two goals, and one of the goals is making sure that we're part of the economic development, because there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be coming in the state of California, particularly our region, Los Angeles County. So we want to make sure that the city of Monrovia is going to be a player in that. Secondly, we want to make sure that we're building community and bringing people to our city. So that's a good thing, and I look forward to bringing more information from future meetings. And last, but certainly not least, I have an update concerning our library. Join us at the library this Saturday, February the 21st, from the hours of 2 to 4 to celebrate Black History Month. This will be a powerful afternoon celebrating a century of Black history commemorations. This is a free event put on by our library for children of all ages and their families. So please come out on February the 24th, 2 to 4 at our local library. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Spicer?
Yeah, let me see if I can find something that hasn't been mentioned. Community services next Thursday, February the 26th from 10 a.m. to 12. We'll be hosting our annual senior health fair at the community center. We're expecting more than 20 vendors who will be sharing helpful health and wellness information with our seniors. We'll also have healthy food samples and a variety of giveaways. This is a free event, open to all. No reservations are required, and we look forward to welcoming our seniors and connecting them with valuable resources. Just a quick overview of some topics from the League of California Cities Conference. The sessions I attend with public safety trends, physical stability, program evaluations, environmental review, and also governance and transparency. I also was able to sit on the Transportation, Communication, and Public Works Policy Committee, and our session entailed e-bike roundtable discussions, the state budget and SB1 funding, the road charge program that they're trying to put in place, legislative budget, and regulatory update. Also, the Monrovia Duarte Black alumni will be having an event at the community center that's coming Sunday. It's called Faith That Endures, celebrating 100 years. They're honoring African-American churches that has over 100 years of being active in the city of Monrovia. So I believe, Bethel AME Church of Monrovia, First Baptist Church of Duarte, Second Baptist Church of Monrovia will be, Second Baptist will be celebrating 124 years in Monrovia.
All right.
Shiloh AME Zion. So that's this Sunday, February 22nd from 2 to 4, and it's a luncheon, and the donation for the luncheon is $50. All you can eat soul food.
What are you cooking, Larry?
I'm not telling you. But it's going to be a good meal. Well, I'll tell you. I'm making a peach cobbler, the greens, and the cornbread.
What else is there? I mean,
Chicken.
isn't that, I'm,
Oh.
I mean, I could just eat cornbread and peach.
Chicken.
Peach cobbler and greens.
Some of everything is,
Yeah.
what is that? Macaroni and cheese. It's going to be a good one. But other than that, that's it for me, Mayor. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
And Mr. Belden?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had the pleasure to represent the city at the CPA board meeting about 2 weeks ago. It was actually a fairly light meeting, but they did go over some more information to be coming out. Maybe you'll see some more ads just to help educate people about CPA coming out. and they're actually updating some of their portals of information for us. So we'll be sharing more information. I think there's a little bit that we can get to know and access in terms of grants or just how our city's doing and what's coming out. So more to come on that one. I did have a chance to join you all at the Chamber Awards and State of City. Great events, all of them. On Saturday, I did go out with some of the folks here in the community that were at the memorial for Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez. It is a sight just to see, unfortunately, the number of folks represented there that have lost their lives and over the past few months. Then today, I went to a presentation that the City of Temple City hosted. The mayor there hosted the Responding to Disasters for city council members, and there was a good showing, and also a good show from our police and fire departments in the area. It was a member from a police side, a chief that's been involved in many cities, as well as a fire chief, and then the current LA County OE Emergency Operations Center the director. And just some great information. There's a couple of little handouts, so I'll get them over to you all so you can have them as well. But just information about some lessons learned. I think the big takeaways were they were talking to elected leaders, and just like during the incident, please lean on your staff to be the mouthpiece so that you don't say things that you may not have to walk back, right? Because they're not always having all the information. We're eager, right, to jump in and give this information to people, but they said that their job is usually, not the easiest job necessarily at all. It's a very hard job, but it's a very shorter incident. And then after that, hour, 2-day incident, the hard job is really what we have to do in terms of all of the consequences of that incident and making sure that you're repairing that throughout your community or addressing it. So that's the job of the council, is the fixing afterwards mostly. So, and then in terms of Cal Cities, it was a great conference, great opportunity, as Councilmember Jimenez mentioned, just to see and hear from our fellow council members from up and down the state. But one of the updates was about in the budget. It's a challenging year, as we all know, on the state level, but there is no new funding for affordable housing and homelessness coming out right now currently. Then there were some sessions just in terms of looking over our own financials, making sure we're all aware of what we should be looking at and red flags. And so far, it looks like we're in a good place. We don't have a lot of those concerns that they warn us about. And then planning, and I know we have a planning commissioner in the audience right now, and a director. Just the importance of making sure that our general plans are current and updated, and kind of going through that process sometimes, of just making sure that all those different elements line up. And there was one interesting take that I want to maybe see if you guys want to look into a little bit more about a pro-housing community as a something that gets you a little bit some maybe potential money, grant money. It may open the door for some things. So it seemed like something we might be interested in doing. I don't know what it's involved and what it takes, but it's a state designation that we can get. I felt like we probably are pro-housing already, so might want to look into that one. And then as the Cal City Environmental Quality Committee that I serve on, there was a presentation from the California Public Utilities Commissioner Advocate, who helps look over our rates. And even though our rates keep going up, they were complaining about that as well, that they're trying to kind of rein that in, and always are now advocating to make sure that some of our utility friends have been making rate adjustments on a really regular basis rather than like on a 2-month or 6-month, or just whenever they feel like they suddenly need a rate adjustment, which is not normal. And they used to just do it on like a 2-year cycle or 1-year cycle, like when we all budget. That was their expectation. They've been going as if things have just changed for a large corporation, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense, right? They do have pretty good forecast capabilities at those agencies. So they're advocating for them to change that and not let them actually do that, so that there's a little bit more certainty, which I think is great. And then they had some other ideas as well, even using, and that's something that California, or the Clean Power Alliance has been talking about as well, is using public financing for some of those large infrastructure costs. Right now, they use a lot of the private utilities use private financing for large capital expenses, and of course, that means they are paying a little higher for that, and they can probably potentially tap into using public financing mechanisms to help lower some of those capital costs, and that would, of course, lower our costs. So those are the updates. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And what I was desperately looking for before the meeting, I had a folder that had all the stuff that I had printed out on my report. And I don't know, it disappeared, or
Who do we have to thank?
someone stole it.
Just talk from the heart, Becky. Just talk from the heart.
Yeah. So at any rate, I'm going to take these out of order here, but at any rate, for the league event, I think it's already been said. It was a great opportunity to hear a lot of great things. When I go to conferences, it always underscores when you hear the stories, especially testimonials from people, that how great we've got it here. And we're not perfect, but oh my goodness, some of the things that people go to the mic and confess at some of these things is pretty wild. And it also underscores, and I just really love that thought. Barbara had shared it as unity is not sameness, or unity is not uniformity. And it really is how we gather our strengths together and how we partner and work together with all of our various strengths and talents and whatnot to get things done. So at any rate, it was a great opportunity. On my list here of items under my report, the City Council liaison appointments were a part of the posted agenda. There really are no changes. And those are going to be posted as a part of, I don't know, you'll just update, I guess, the information on our website so you can see them then. And under our protocols that we put in place last month, one of them was the appointment of the mayor pro tem. And under our prior protocols, it said that the mayor pro tem was to be elected. Well, we didn't do it quite that way, but we decided to make it and to align everything with our upcoming, or with the elections that will be in December, and then seating the new council in December, that the mayor pro tem and also the liaison appointments would be in 1-year increments. And so we are going to go ahead and make that change now, but before. And that was very nice of Adrian to bring that certificate. But thank you so very much, Dr. Kelly, for being Mayor Pro Tem. And thank you for all your work and representation. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as well. So. Thank you. With the big audience we have here.
Where's the audience?
We get a lot of.
I think there's more members of the city council up here than there's members of the audience.
We get a lot of practice at speaking to.
Exactly.
But you're very wonderful. The ones that are still here.
Well, can I just say one thing,
Yes.
Mayor? Thank you so much again for, I know it's rotational, but I really appreciated, even the call, and when you called and shared that with me. I thought I was just so excited and proud to be able to represent, and even in a temporary way, but it did bring a lot of pride that I was able to even do it. And so thank you for that. And thank you to my colleagues for just being very supportive. And since Sergio parks in the front, I think I'm going to keep that parking space in the back. No, just kidding. But I do appreciate it. So it was great. Thank you very much.
But that is something that we then documented, because we had by practice, we had tried to honor the seniority and make sure that everybody had an opportunity. But now it is actually a part of our protocols, and I would suggest that we always bring those out every year, and so that we are honoring the protocols, because sometimes by practice we just start doing things and we're on autopilot and we're not honoring what our actual protocols are. So with that, though, the appointment of our Mayor Pro Tem to take place now and serve until the next seating of a city council is the Honorable Council Member Sergio Jimenez. And so, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Jimenez, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Even though we have a mayor, an elected mayor, I think we have to keep the most important thing in mind is that we're all part of a team.
Yes.
Nothing happens without the teamwork. No one member, even the mayor, has more votes than members of the council. So I will always keep that in mind. Team player. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And it very, very, very important. And like I said, unity, and it's how we all come together as a team, and even in staff as well. And we get things done and work as a team. Okay, and then I did have a couple of other things. I wanted to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year tonight. It is the year of the Yang fire horse. And the difference being that Yang fire horse, it only comes around every 60 years. And I was going to read something very fast because it sounds like we're in for a lot of excitement here. And this rare once every 60-year event, last in 1966, is characterized by intense, fast-moving energy, promoting bold, pioneering action, passion, and at times volatility. It is considered a time to break routines and take risks. And significance symbolizes high energy, rapid change, and independence. And the Yang, as opposed to Yin, the Yang fire horse year represents a move forward, is a move toward a more action-oriented, Yang-dominated, and fast-paced year. Yeah, that Yin is more introspective, and the Yang is kind of outgoing. So happy Lunar New Year to everyone. And tonight I want to thank staff for the Pancake Day dinner. We're celebrating, I know that's known by many different things, either Pancake Day, Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, Shrove Tuesday, Carnival, lots of different things as we prepare for the Lenten season. And the idea of pancakes is to use up your perishables and things like that one last time to party. But thank you for the experience of having pancakes for dinner. That's always a good thing. Dessert for dinner is good too. And let me see here. Today I had the honor and pleasure of meeting at the COG. Congressman Gil Cisneros held a kind of a round table for city managers and mayors. And it was really it was low key and provided an opportunity for everyone to share some of their concerns, what he might be able to help with, what we might be able to help with, things like that. It was a very good opportunity to just have open conversation and dialogue. And he really encourages everyone to reach out to his office if they need anything. You talk about the Olympics. I know there's been a lot of talk that the federal government isn't going to give a dime towards the Olympics. There was just, I think it was last Monday, it was, I want to say $94 million for transportation-related items but I know that's a far cry from what they really need, but it's a start. For the Olympics, and thanked him for that. Thanked him for the monies that we have been approved, especially for our Police Department Communications Center. And then I also wanted to mention the One City, One Story. It is going along well. And Jana, I can't remember where Saturday's event is. Do you remember? Library Park. That's very upfront and personal and very public, and so you be able to manage that one. And it's from 9 to 10 a.m. And there might not have the huge crowds at the kickoff, but it does offer an opportunity to have those discussions about the book. And they will be meeting through March 28th, and then that will be the final, I guess, gathering, and that's going to be at Station Square, isn't it? Station Square. So I'm talking to Janet Wall, that's in the back of the room, and she's in charge of the One City, One Story with Monrovia Reads. So, or one of the people in charge, doing a great job. Okay, then with that, I think we're finished with our announcements. And then moving on to administrative reports, amendment to AR1, which is amendment to Monrovia Municipal Code Section 2.12.030 related to city council compensation pursuant to SB 329. And this is a second visit at this. We had to have two, if I remember correctly. Isn't this, no? This was the first one?
You gave direction at the last one, and this is the beginning of the action.
Okay. This is the first of two then. Okay. And that is going to be Mr. Feek.
I'll go through this item fairly quickly, just because, as mentioned, you've had a study session on it. At the last council meeting, we discussed an item related to SB 329, which allows cities, general law cities of different sizes, to adopt compensation limits pertinent to city council, the mayor, the city council members. Prior to this legislation passing, the law did not allow cities to increase beyond a certain amount. It left, certainly the intent of the law was not to, enrich or make rich elected officials, but to provide a more appropriate compensation and as a means to recognize the number of hours and the amount of work that goes into representing a community as a public official. Cities of our size are allowed at the time in 2024, when we adopted the then maximum allowed under the law, $1,275 per month. The law also allowed cities in subsequent years to increase based on either an inflationary adjustment or an amount not to exceed 5%. At your last council meeting, you gave direction to staff to prepare an ordinance which would increase by the CPI adjustment for both 2025 and 2026. Whereas currently compensation is $1,275 per month, the new compensation limit will be $1,359 per month. It's important to note that the council cannot adopt an increase that will take effect for this city council. This new adjustment cannot take effect until after the new city council is sworn in, after the November 2026 election. The city attorney's office has assisted with the preparation of the ordinance. It is consistent with what's allowed under Government Code Section 36517. We're also requesting, per your direction 2 years ago, that we also adopt the same compensation limits for the elected city clerk and the elected city treasurer positions. Those are done not in an ordinance, but they're done separately under resolution number 2026-09. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. This will be the first reading of the ordinance. I might invite the city attorney to provide any comments or thoughts should he have any at this time.
I'm sorry, just to note that there is a resolution in your packet. That's for adoption at your next meeting. It's just for an example tonight. That won't actually be adopted until your next meeting if the ordinance is adopted.
Any questions of Mr. Feek? Then without that, we do have a recommendation to introduce, waive for the reading, and read by title only.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Could you please take a roll call vote?
Council members Belden,
Yes.
hold on. Dr.
Yes.
Kelly,
Oh, sorry.
Spicer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez,
Yes.
and Mayor Shevlin.
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll
And
just
then,
read that title, Mayor. It's
yes.
ordinance 2026-01.
Get that part.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Monrovia, California, amending Chapter 2.12 City Council of the Monrovia Municipal Code pertaining to compensation of the mayor and city council members.
Thank you very much. Then moving on to AR2, fiscal year 2025-26 budget update, resolution 2026-05, fiscal year 2025-26 schedule of fees and charges update, resolution 2026-06. And we have Ray Bowman presenting.
I'm
She's back.
Thank you so much, and good evening again, Mayor Shevlin and members of City Council. Thank you for your time this evening, and the presentation before you tonight is the fiscal year 25-26 quarter 2 budget update. We've placed hard copies of the presentation slides in front of you this evening as well.
Right in front.
There they are. Thank you so much, Alice.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. So the purpose of tonight's presentation is to provide a high-level review of fiscal year 24-25 first, based on audited numbers, as we present the fiscal year 25-26 budget adjustment proposals for council's consideration. We'll also briefly review 6 proposed fee updates to the fiscal year 25-26 fee schedule and provide council with an update on several other important discussion items. As a high-level overview, the city remains in a stable financial position. However, uncertainty does persist in the economy. Changes happening at the federal level, such as tariffs, funding freezes, and federal enforcement activities, can have potential impacts to the city. However, most major city revenues remain stable, with property tax and sales tax performing as projected. On another positive note, inflation continues to stabilize compared to previous years, and this is expected to positively impact the cost of goods and services procured by the city. Overall, the city remains in a flexible position and can adjust to changes in the economic environment as needed. As council is aware, we've completed our fiscal year 24-25 audit, and we have some final numbers to further share with council this evening, particularly for the general fund. So for 24-25, general fund revenues outperformed the budget by $1.16 million. And one-time PFAS settlement revenues of approximately $1 million was received during the year that contributed to this. This is designated for a specific future use. Also, TOT ended the year at $310,000, better than budget, which is great news. On the expenditure side, prior year expenditures were less than budget by about $600,000. Primarily due to savings in maintenance and operations costs through the diligent management of our departments and the fiscal guidance of our council. Overall, the general fund is ended the year with a $2.63 million surplus, which is $1.7 million better than expected, which is great news. We'll look at the numbers on the next slide. So the following table provides a summary of the key points discussed in the previous slide. You'll see that the 24-25 revenues exceeded the budget by $1.16 million, and expenditures came in under by about $600,000. Again, that brings our 24-25 surplus to $2.63 million, which is $1.7 million better than budget. Now that we've done a 24-25 general fund review, let's take a look at our 25-26 quarter 2 budget adjustment figures. As a quick review, our budget process always incorporates the following objectives. We go back to these objectives when we put together our annual update and our quarterly budget adjustments. Our proposals are founded on the city's financial resiliency plan. We incorporate conservative revenue and expenditure projections. We focus on our CIP priorities, address our long-term liabilities, and set aside funding for future liabilities. We always look at building up reserves to prepare for the future, and we seek outside funding when possible to help fund special projects. These are the factors that we considered in putting together our quarter two adjustments. This slide here provides a high-level summary of the citywide current and proposed budget categorized by fund type. You'll note that there is an increase in revenues being proposed, going from $165.4 million to $166.2 million. And expenditures are being proposed to go from $156.4 million to $157.1 million. We'll take a closer look at those proposed adjustments during the presentation, but I wanted to mention that when expenditures exceed revenues for a given line, for example, the internal services funds here, it indicates the use of reserves that have been set aside in a previous period for use in this period. So let's start with the general fund revenue adjustments. Overall, revenues remain stable. Property tax, sales tax, and TOT continue to perform as projected, so no budget adjustments are being proposed for those categories this evening. We are proposing an increase of about $45,000 for various library, community services, and even fire donations and reimbursements. We're also proposing a reduction of around $451,000 for updated estimates of PFAS settlement revenues this year. Staff is also proposing an increase of $173,000 for the reimbursement of facility maintenance costs through Measure A maintenance and servicing funds that will be received this year. And lastly, staff is proposing a positive budget adjustment of $14,000 for updated state and motor vehicle in lieu revenue estimates. This slide here summarizes our general fund revenues for the current fiscal year. And as you can see, there are no changes to our major revenue categories as they're tracking to budget. And the total general fund revenue adjustment proposed for this quarter two is a reduction of around $200,000 in the all other revenues category. Now let's take a look at the general fund expenditures. These adjustments of over $20,000 or more will be discussed on this slide. First, an increase of a little over $21,000 is being proposed to support the redesign of the Monrovia Today. In addition, an increase of $20,000 and $30,000 are being proposed to cover equipment upgrades at the Barney Glen Field and the Dave Bang Playground area. I'm happy to share the last bullet point in this slide, in that we're proposing a decrease of $1 million for the police dispatch console replacement project, as we recently received news that federal appropriations for the project was recently approved in the amount of $1.03 million.
And again, I thanked Congressman Cisneros.
Yeah. So that 1 million goes back where?
Right now, what we're doing for the decrease on $1 million is we're going to get grant funds in.
Yeah, I know
And we're
about
going to
that.
put the $1 million back into reserves.
Okay.
We originally had pulled it out. Ray, can you correct me? Is that number reflected in this? Or will that be in these numbers here? Or will that $1 million back in reserves be reflected later on in a future budget update?
This $1 million, the funds going back in is reflected in quarter two. Mhm. Perfect. This slide summarizes our general fund expenditures for the current fiscal year. And as you can see, the proposed expenditure adjustments total a decrease of about $790,000 overall, with close to $1 million coming from that reduction that we talked about in the transfers and other category related to our PD dispatch console. So when factoring in all of the proposed revenue and expenditure adjustments for the general fund is estimated to close this current fiscal year with a surplus of $1.6 million. This slide shows a summary breakdown of that $1.6 million surplus, given revenue and expenditures for this fiscal year. And now let's take a look at our other city funds or non-general funds. This table here provides a high-level summary of the city's non-general funds. It shows current budget and the proposed budget figures. Overall, proposed revenues are a little over 79 million, and proposed expenditures are a little over 80 million. Again, the excess of expenditures over revenues is based on the planned use of reserves that have been set aside in a prior year. And we'll take a look at the detail of the adjustments next. So let's take a look at some of the notable non-general fund budget adjustments, specifically adjustments over $20,000. For revenues, we're proposing an increase to the Fire Grants Fund in the amount of $22,750 for updated estimates on the SHISH grant revenues anticipated for this fiscal year. This increase in revenues is offset by a proposed expenditure adjustment for a similar amount. Additionally, we're also proposing an increase in Traffic Capital Improvement Fund expenses for a refund of approximately $175,000 of traffic impact fees for a development project that will no longer move forward. This refund is offset by revenues received in a prior fiscal year. And as a note, a complete listing of all revenue and expenditure adjustments by fund is included as Attachment A to Resolution Number 2026-05.
Just out of curiosity, which one of the projects is that didn't go forward, that we're making the refund on?
I believe it's Sierra Autos.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. I'd like to take this time to pause to see if council has any questions before we move forward to an update of Measure K. Perfect. Okay, so we wanted to provide council with a quick update on Measure K. As council will recall, the 2025 Measure K spending plan was approved in December of 2024, and the spending plan outlined projects and appropriated $16 million for Measure K funded projects. Work is either complete or underway on most of these projects, and this slide shows a summary of the spending plan against actual expenditures as of this month. Highlighted on this slide is the library enhancement project, which was approved for $6 million on the Measure K spending plan. On February 3rd, City Council received a presentation regarding this project and directed staff to prepare revised plans, as the city no longer anticipates to spend the previously approved $6 million. Staff will incorporate updated budgetary estimates as revised plans are completed. Measure K revenues continue to be strong and is currently tracking to budget, so no revenue adjustment is being proposed as part of this quarterly update. Over time, we've built up a Measure K fund balance, and we're estimating an ending fund balance of over $31 million at the end of 26-27. I did want to note that the library facility enhancement budget of $6 million is still currently built into this projection, so these estimates will be updated once revised plans are completed. And the next Measure K Citizen Advisory Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 24th. Next up is the city's Section 115 Trust, which continues to be an effective tool for addressing pension and OPEB liabilities. Consistent with the city's funding policy, staff is proposing to increase the Section 115 set-aside by $553,000. In addition, as discussed in previous quarters, utilizing the trust to maximize its effectiveness remains to be our focus. And as part of this quarterly update, staff is proposing to utilize $2.5 million from the trust to allow flexibility to pay for the city's CalPERS costs and for cash flow purposes. Next up, I'd like to do a quick review of our Capital Improvement Program, or CIP, for the current fiscal year. As council is aware, our CIP program has been classified into 8 distinct categories. And for the current fiscal year, there are about 38 different projects planned within these categories. As a note, this discussion doesn't include our unfunded projects, which are currently being evaluated for potential funding sources in the future. But as part of this update, staff reviewed CIP projects, and based on this review, we're proposing an increase totaling $31,000 in CIP expenditures and a little over $1 million in CIP revenues. These budget adjustments were based on updated estimates and available funding sources. Some of the more notable adjustments include the previously discussed PD dispatch console replacement project, which recently received that appropriation of COPS grant funding for a little over $1 million. Additionally, staff is proposing an adjustment to move the utility division's jetter truck budget from the water fund to the sewer fund, as it is more appropriately related to sewer operations.
What is a jetter truck?
As I understand it, it's a specialized sewer cleaning vehicle that uses high-pressure water to clean out debris and sludge.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good answer. Good answer.
We're going
to
to need
look
a
up a
tour of
photo.
that, right?
Okay, so a detailed listing of budgeted projects, descriptions, and project status are included as Exhibit 1 to this report. In addition, Attachment B to Resolution Number 2026-05 itemizes all of the CIP adjustment proposals for Council's consideration. I did want to mention a few of the projects that we recently completed, namely Satoru Tsuneishi Park, Booster 1 to 6 pump reconstruction, the fuel pump replacement project, and of course Huntington Drive and 5th. In addition to these completed projects, there are over 30 other projects in progress at various stages, including community center renovation designs, as well as Mountain and Peck. As part of this quarterly update, we do have 6 fee adjustments. Staff is proposing an adjustment to community services fees, namely to establish park rental fees for Satoru Tsuneishi for both non-resident and resident rates.
Is that for the whole park?
I believe it is. Similar structure to our Rotary Park and Kiwanis Park rental programs. In addition, we're also proposing, of course, a security deposit for the park rental at Satoru Tsuneishi. Staff is also proposing updates to the non-resident recreation class fees to allow the non-resident $10 fee to be waived for ticketed events. And lastly, staff is proposing to have the ability to waive the $10 software recovery fee for ticketed events, merchandise, and parking fees. Our community services team is proposing these realignments with the intention of ensuring that programs and events, and including parking, remain accessible and that the $10 fees aren't cost prohibitive, especially as it relates to small or nominal transactions such as a parking fee. In summary, the general fund closed 24-25 $1.7 million better than originally planned. The budget proposal presented this evening better aligns our 25-26 budget with updated estimates. And while there is some level of uncertainty in the economy, the city is in a good position to have flexibility and to pivot as we've done in the past years. And we can freeze spending on non-essential areas if needed. Staff will continue to closely monitor the budget and will return to council with a third quarter update in May or sooner if needed. Lastly, staff is gearing up for the development of the 26-27 budget update and will return to City Council with budget study sessions and a proposal between May and June of this year. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Awesome report. Questions of Ray?
Just a couple questions on that. I mean, wonderful report as well. Thank you. A lot
Thank
of
you.
changes going on, but they all look worthwhile. On the fee charges,
Yes.
I missed it because I must be slow here. The last three on the list, is there a change?
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. The change is in the comment section, and it's to propose to allow that $10 non-resident fee to be waived.
For a ticketed event? Okay.
Yes, for ticketed events, specifically for recreation classes at city-owned facilities and private facilities. And then the last one is a software recovery fee. That's the $10 additional fee that we charge for transactions in community services. And some of the fees that we charge are pretty nominal, say a $5 parking fee or maybe a $20 T-shirt. And that additional $10 can become cost prohibitive for some people who are thinking of buying that T-shirt or maybe buying that ticketed event. So they were hoping to be able to waive that fee.
Is this based on feedback?
I believe it is. And I think it is with the intention that it becomes kind of a more welcoming and inviting fee structure for, not only residents in Monrovia, but also non-residents to come in and do their business in town.
It also stemmed from discussions around Monrovia Days ticketing. We did not, this fee that we had adopted, we wanted to make it very clear, even with our new software, that if we're selling a $20 daily ticket for Monrovia Days, there's not tacked on a $10 fee on top of that. So we created these kind of these few exceptions just to make sure it's clear that was never the intent.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. And then Tsunushi Park, I'm just what portion of the park are we renting out there?
Yeah, that's
It's a
what I
fairly
said.
small park. Right? Are we renting out the whole, we're not renting out the whole park, right?
Well, typically what people do is they want to reserve the space and use the picnic tables, and they can use the park. So other people can still use the park, but it's you're reserving the picnic tables. It's your dedicated space. You can have a party there. Under the city's municipal code, like organized events and specifically kind of exclusive use of a space, you have to go through the city in a rental to get it. So someone who wants to do a birthday party, for example, would rent that.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Do you
well,
want a
if there-
motion?
No further questions. This is, a recommendation is to adopt resolution numbers 2026-05 and 2026-06.
So move.
Second?
Well, let's finish it out with a roll call vote.
Making me practice, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Council members Belden.
Yes.
Dr. Kelly. Yes. Spicer.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez.
Yes.
And Mayor Shevlin.
Yes. Okay. That passes, and we don't have any reason for any further public comment, and no items pulled to be reviewed. Our next scheduled meeting, regular meeting of the City Council is scheduled for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 at 7:30 PM here in these chambers. And an adjournment, we are adjourning in the memory of Romana Rudnick, longtime Monrovia resident. I did not know Romana. Did any of you?
I think she's Marian Rednick's mom,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
All right. And so at any rate, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to her family. And so with that, we are adjourned at 9:33, and congratulations, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And thank you to outgoing Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly.
Thank you. There's some signage. if you
Yeah,
wanna-
I'm gonna finish her.
Big